All right, it's your boy Pill. I'm back. Just want to hit you with an ancient quote from Diodorus Siculus. This is in the BC era from the book Diodorus on Egypt, Book 1. Diodorus Siculus. It was translated by Edwin Murphy. So this is something that was written like in the BC era by a European, talking about us African people. Diodorus says, Lucagos was a European from Greece. Also, whereas Solon and Plato, these are the so-called Greek philosophers, are reported to have inserted many of the Egyptians' African customs into their own code of laws, while Pythagoras, another Greek, so-called Greek European dude, they say learned from the Egyptians, who are Africans, the doctrine of the divine wisdom and theorems of geometry, the theory of numbers, and in addition, the transmigration of the soul into every living being. So let's read that again. And Lucogos also as well as Solon and Plato are reported to have inserted many of the Egyptian customs into their own code of laws, while Pythagoras, they say, learned from the Egyptians the doctrine of the divine wisdom, the theorem of geometry, the theory of numbers, and in addition, the transmigration of the soul into every living being. And so, as I've been showing y'all how King to all them people in Africa, in the Takara and the Happy documentary, I'm showing you how we taught these so-called Greek or European people were taught the first European philosophers the wisdom, the doctrine of divine wisdom. So we already knew what divine wisdom was. We knew the theorems of geometry. We knew the theory of numbers. And in addition, the transmigration of the soul into every living being. According to Diodorus Siculus, he said, hey, these so-called black people, African people, Hebrew Moorish people, they taught these guys. We all know. And so as you in today's society, just know, look at this quote up here. He says, centuries earlier, this guy Albert Church wrote on this one. He says, centuries earlier, the Egyptians had given much thought to the nature of the universe and to the social and ethical problems of man, world civilization. And so as you can see that we have always been highly intellectual, even before enslavement, colonization. That's why they had to come get us. We are some of the dopest people that ever lived on this planet, if not the dopest, okay? And so I just wanted to show you, because I like to read ancient quotes. It's cool to read like people that translate it, as far as, what I mean by that, like people who like got more modern books. Like I love Dr. John Henry Clark and all of them, Garvey, of course, all of them. But I like to go to the BC era and read what was written during the BC era, because it's I can kind of get an idea and then trace it up to us today to get a final consistency of a behavior and what was written about us. And so I just wanted to show you that, as you know, as we in today's schools, you will never see this. You will never see this. You'll be told that your history started with slavery, not that Solon and Plato and Pythagoras came to Africa to learn. And this is and these are European white people. These are white people. The same white people like Joe Biden and them. So they came to Africa to get their initial learning. And then when they learned from us, and we know these people, they were grateful. They always admit that, yeah, we learned, us so-called white people learn from these so-called black people. Or I would say us so-called Europeans learn from these Africans. But with today's society, they don't want to show you this because it's profit. That way, because if you knew this, they wouldn't make any movies about anybody else being in Egypt other than us so-called black people. And then you wouldn't be going to their schools learning that Columbus discovered America, or we came here on a slave ship. We always been slaves. So that's why they have to control the schools, because the sad part is they have enslaved their teacher and colonized and hid the information from their teacher, hoping that their teacher who taught them never wakes up. And but I don't see how long that's going to last. So it was a nice idea, but we taught ourselves from the beginning, and we'll teach ourselves again. So like I said, we taught them the doctrine of divine wisdom, the theorems of geometry, and the theory of numbers. In addition, the transmigration of the soul into every living being. And so, before any religion, these are things we already had, and that's why they don't want to compete with it because we already did it, done it, and we've been around a long time. So it's your boy Pillar. I love you. Have a great day. One.